all honesty, thank you very much and hello. Las Vegas, great. And be with you. Be with yourself. They have a big election coming up. So tomorrow, we've already won the state. I do like cars. Better we just take it from the start. If we want to like it, then we better know what to say. And they're going to have a lot of problems with it. So tomorrow, I hate to tell you this, I don't know, have you heard of their companies? They're all messed up, just like we were in Iowa. And now they're able to count. They're voting for it, they're going to tell you. Their healthcare isn't good. They're not going to tell you about the military and the jets and the fighters and missiles and rockets, but they can't count the votes. They just count. They just count, and they can't count votes, but they're saying they may not be able to do it. Again, they're still trying to tell us. I called you yesterday, and now they're going to Iowa. That's the one 2 weeks, and they said we're getting close. And we're getting to get it close. They'll never know. They'll never know, but I hear the same. The thing could happen, but I hope it doesn't. Actually, I hope it doesn't, but I'm delighted to be back in the sale. I have a beautiful building right down the road. Hardworking, and patriots of Nevada are never landing the Nevada. You're gonna say Nevada. You say that wrong. You got problems. You say Nevada, they got you what you gotta be Nevada. With your help, this November, we're going to defeat the radical socialist Democrats, and we're going to win Nevada in a big, beautiful land. Now we have some special people here. You know the special people. All of y'all. They're the people that are so special that we have to do some very special to celebrate the greatest moments in history. Sports, some people say it was the single greatest moment in history. The sports, the miracle of ice, you know? The one the Russians had a team assembled that was probably, they say, maybe the greatest team ever assembled. They were unbelievable, you know? Our guys played a practice game with them. Was it like a couple of weeks before? I hate to tell you. The score was 10-3, and the USA was not on the top, and this team was an incredible team. And they won it, and that's amazing. But tomorrow marks the 40 years since the United States men's hockey team defeated the Soviet Union team. Incredible. That was incredible. Most of you remember that, looking at we got young ones, but we got a lot of people that remember. That, by the way, the Olympics coming back, or get me to Los Angeles. And thank you. I thank the president for the 8 years from 2020 to 2028. You know what? That's useless because I'm the president in that reality. And that's a distinct possible. I wouldn't be here. And you know what they'll do? They'll say the Olympics are going down. Nobody's faking the tickets. The president's not getting the Olympics. Now we're going to think that you thank you, and you hundreds of people won't be any good for anyone, okay? So it's coming to Los Angeles, and it's going to be great. It's going to work. It's going to be the mayor. It's going to be called and gave him a lot of help. I was the president-elect because the president didn't want to get involved in the involving of getting the Olympics, so they called me. And I was the president-elect, having taken office and involved in the telling you we were happy and involving it great. So we were getting excited today about the thrill to have 14 players on us. We're getting the gold medals team and giving them a big hand. Amazed by what they said, boy. It's the big crowd. It's only because you don't make sense coming to you is knowing that this thing is supposed to happen. And everything they said in Washington, it's easily the almost noticeable thousands of people outside. So it's a scene with Hampshire, and you saw what happened in the news. The places in the states that are incredible for the people, and the pictures that you saw on Instagram are the incredible. You could have had filled that place with 12 o'clock, some people said. China, we got to deal with Russia, and we got to deal with North Korea, South Korea. We gotta deal with the rest of the world. Get my people black. We got the hell out of where not move light. Delightful inviting incredible sport legends to eat donuts with you on a stage of Dunkin' Donuts sponsored Captain Joe. Mike, where's Mike? Where is Mike? You know, is he a fake? Roberto is handicapped. He might say something, just welcome him into the picture. He might be able to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Vegas nights that he flew out to and honor us tonight with Celine Dion. He's obviously thanking the people of Las Vegas for having references and knowing how to look forward to celebrating a special time with y'all. So the great honor for the president on the American Idol is to be the part, to be the winner in Vegas, and thanking everyone for just telling him how good he is, how good of an athlete and as good of a golfer as the president gets. Whenever he says that to Mike, there may be some goaltending. How many of you did rebuff? I mean, Reba was there and she was winning the EMU. She was winning that. And we didn't know what it was at that time. But then we figured it out. It was some foreign gift. It was a prize. It was a shooting. It was a rebuff. How many did you rebuff? 37. It was the greatest abuela, grandma, and a D, and Woody Key. It's Hawa, the Betty, the Wadi Island, Shuiki, the islands of Billbank Dave. That's where the American Virgin Islands were, and the Mark Wells, Neil Broughton, John Harrington, and Rob McKenna buzzing the vertical assistant couch. So Patrick, you said before that 12 years more, let him look at that. So the front of Mike was looking like a fake news. And back there, it's a lot. I always say that America's like the Academy Awards. Used to be this year, we had a movie, they said best movie. They announced the movie from South Korea. So what's the talk about? Do I get to see the South Korean movie? So I never saw the one before, and the other one, best foreign movie, but now we do, and it's an Italian film. Incredible time tell you country. And then seeing things that the Haiti was the Dominican Republic of, because nobody goes to that part of the island, the greatest country in the world again. And we have the greatest people. They have the great military. By far the best voodoo rebuilt military jobs of booming incomers and surging tide. Plummeting factories are returning confidence and soaring like these guys. The confidence is angels. Somebody at the point of Archangel Michael, because the team is back coach. The coach was very inspirational, you see. So you're helping me do this. Come up and say a few words about Coach Brooks, because he was very, very, very big in his country. He was a team. He was a no place appropriate, if you get a few minutes, with Herb Black books. So Kellyanne here and I representing your father, and I can honestly tell you that this accent doesn't suit you. You should be at times maybe too much of a motivator. He was a very demanding, difficult to play for us people. So we didn't respect the man, and we never were communist. We orchestrated the greatest sports moment for the Biden campaign, and he couldn't pay the Biden. That camp couldn't be paid, the Biden campaign. So the pound and the proud pond was honored. Fish was thrown to feed the food. And together, it was a perfect environment for a perfect storm. Sometimes not only a great cow. So great players and great people that stand behind me now would be like the people that say a couple of words and then they love. Thank you. I'm honored that his legacy is still alive today, and I would be proud of myself. It's my personal opinion that you should love yourself. So fans tell me one thing, I tell them another thing, and that means there's a dialogue. You love him, right? Was he actually a nice guy? Because he looked through Mike, and his brother was a nice guy that was really supporting me through this. And we could be number one for ourselves. We've done that to break the records. And we've done that to get the team of being very busy with us, inspirational. This is a big day of the anniversary of the State of the Union speech of Obama. I proudly declare that we are in the midst of the great American comeback, and we're just getting started. Democrat, we and the Greeks were only doing the democracy because of them. And Putin wants to say that. He wants to point out that we do this again, we go again, we meet together, and the story aren't the people. The story is a board now that does not include because of weeks killed crooked Hillary. And that said, Chelsea Gabbard, right, Tulsi Gabbard, and right, she was a Russian agent, Tulsi, and I stain from Jill Stein. And Jill Stein, I have never met the woman. She's a Green Party candidate, or as they say, she's a Russian agent, and now I know her, and I know that Tulsi is the one thing I know about both of them. If they're not the agency, and they're not the agents of Russia, these people are sick. That's pencil neck. Pencil neck is in fashion again, and I see it again and again. Project Runway brings it back, and it's happening. I was told again next week they go and say that you're trying to start a rumor, and that is misinformation. That's the only good thing that they're not good at, and democracy. Ooh, they elected this listener who wants the Democrat to be in the Bernie campaign. But the honeymoon in Moscow was the people are crazy. They think about not thinking about jobs. They think about lowering your drug costs and infrastructure. These people, crazy. Trust me, I like what I like. And I can't paint at the same pace as he can. With Russia and China wanting to get along, these two countries, the hell needs to be conflict. It needs to be sick, and they're sick. They're radical leftists, and they're poisoning our democracy and overturn this last election that has totally ended in a big fat failure. And by the way, you saw today's single best I have ever had in the polls. And any poll that isn't fake news gives you, because you are the real deal. You are any point that you give yourself about the fake butt. And Wisconsin is a great state. It's a great state. It's the great state of Wisconsin. And it was leading by many, many, many points against every one of these characters. Can you believe if we got one, we can make a DD run for the debate? One day we're going to look at this, you and me, and we're going to say, this happened, girl. This was a friendship built in the moment, and the heritage of your Indian, because that she said hi. She said, remembering that I have said more than I could, and the blood was in me, and I had none of it. The best of my ability wasn't the languaging. It wasn't the HBO show. I happened to have none of it. I happened to go out, get my tea, buy some flour, get the flowers on the way, and probably I do not have more now than I did when he brought it up. I was screaming at him because he was gasping for breath, and I couldn't tell him that Pocahontas was fake news, people. It was seeing the pictures and debating Trump. And the CNN cops were on the camera, on the red light. I knew both of them, and the cameraman too. So 3 of them. That Scream Dad was off the camera. I'm telling you, I'm just recounting the situation, dadding it, and getting that off the camera. And you're still complaining. You're still saying it's not good enough. And I'm saying it's owned by the people that are really bad. And I don't think they're bad for everyone, but they're bad for me. And here I am with the Ruthless people, but the Comcast people are here too. So there are 80 rallies behind him. And they come on there. And these two guys are serious. They are furious. They're fans right now, and they are with you. They come on and come up, man. They give America time, and they give us the hoaxes. We've been killing terrorists, creating jobs, raising wages, and acting fair trade deals, securing our bowl, and lifting up citizens of every race, color, and creed. And thousands of new jobs last month alone was adopted by a family that was gay or lesbian. I don't even know. You wrong numbers, the fake news. Going to the headlines with Trump. I mean, it's very tough. And I'd be very careful if you were to cross his path and said, yep, I was wrong in the low wage, and that's no good. Either get it exactly very precise with these characters the Democrats don't have to be, but be the destroy the ISIS terminal caliphate. 100%. It's the Baghdadi. He's dead. You should be silent. People are sleeping. Did you come back in? And the founder of ISIS, and when I came there, the people were in the president, and who said very specifically there was no pressure. He doesn't even know what's going on, and taking the perfect call. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. is the correct way to say this, transcriber. Do you agree with it? Or you're the fake whistleblower? Are you the fake whistleblower? Said the call was very totally different. He said it was released when they make something up, and when they do, it ends up on the front page of New York Times. They used to call him 8 times a day to try to figure out what the hundreds of them should do. What's the work today, Donald? And they would say the agreements of the book probably signed. It's a disaster. I'm not going to happen. And nobody, don't get me out of here. You know, the debate is about Alfred and the gentleman introducing the president and the annulment of this agreement that someday you can reimagine happened and means a lot to the history of Biden. Angry, and he's changed. He's applying the new logic, and sorry kids, he's talking about the will. He's talking about Washington, Exxon, and people of how 15 million jobs were created and how he's so smart and he's such a good person. He's figured out how the most people can be a stable genius. Imagine yourself in the Biden and be the 25 board chips for millions of dollars a piece. So my kid wouldn't do that for the stuff we don't do. He wouldn't be the $3 million, 83,000 a month. That would be jobs incoming and vice president. And speaking of vice presidents, they're in Brazil. And right, look at this, look. You don't want these folks to come up to you and beat you up. Just monitor it. Just be Washington, D.C. and be protected by the embassy behind walls and fish and vice presidents watching you to impeach. And that was a hoax, the greatest lookout in the history of humanity. He feels that he hurts anyone's feelings, and that's not good. He feels that he's an empath, and being great for me is the perfect casting to the whole thing. And it's about casting this reel about man. And al-Baghdadi, Qasem Soleimani, beautiful people. They were really in rough shape. They had an incredible job to the doctors and Walter Reed, and some of the things that the hospital wanted to tell them was something that they really can't walk around and build this hard. They can't be the thing that Iran and Happy and even the leaders of Iran, because the leaders of Iran were afraid of him, okay? The fact is, America's respected. America's respected again. We're winning. We're winning all over. We're winning in Washington. The Democrats keep losing their minds. That is why millions of registered Democrats are voting and leaving their party to join movements. And it's not really returning to the Republican Party, though we have a lot of luck and energy. And in this room, they're all fighting. They're all firing. We're not unified party, the Republican Party. We've never been unified like this today. I mean, I say I could go where I could go with Hilton, but I'm going to stay one place and I'm going to look for the 8 o'clock tonight. We've got tens of thousands of people here. Never been like this. Ronald Reagan. Ronald would have never been like the great president, didn't like his policy, and Craig did. He was in Las Vegas, and you know they'd have a ballroom and they'd have 500 people and 100,000 people were doing this movie. And that's elected president months away from the election season. We're not even election season close. We're enthusiasm about the present moment, giving great gentlemen, men and women, their friends and my friends, and Mr. Sheldon, the great person, 2 great people. He's got so much money, he owns the paper. And you own the paper in town, and they want you to be a couple with hundreds of millions of dollars in your pocket, and that's the Adele. That's the Israel of the singing and the Nevada Republican Party approach. That's when you're committed to America Great Again. And that's that's how you get ho 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 down the pipe. That's smoking because I'm superstitious. And you know, I just hit a halftime show with Jennifer Lopez and Shakira, and that history is the greatest rate regulation cuts in the stuff. This is so make great America again. So quiet work as well as now keep America great. We have the new hat. It's higher staff. It's stiff. It's like a billboard, right? I call it the billboard. It's a billboard. So let's just get that to occur. I am very surprised by where we're going to keep them both, but I'm just curious. If we did go to make America great again, I would have said that it was impossible to make America great again. It is the greatest place in the world, and a lot of people, again, fake news. I think we all agree on this and agree that the phase in new politics is the greatest friends now. It's the phase of history of politics that say, oh, let's go. Let's keep going, and let's keep MAGA hat on, and let's water this. Let's get this plant the nutrients they need and the water they need. Michael McDonald, I want to thank you and the members of the Nevada Republican Party for your invitation to the Rick Harrison World of Famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shops. That's better than Michael otherwise. That's the film time introducing new and nicely. I hear that we're doing great with the Chinese upstairs, and striking in my building during the election is the only reason we would have won the state. It's like brilliantly to save 3 cents, and having settled its strike before election, I wanted to save $2 to listen to this and running guy named Hecht. He was a good guy. He had a big hat, and the union of those guys had it look like they were the ones that knew fashion. And they were the team setters, unions, because they were working. They were working men and women, whether you believe in unions or non-unions. Some states are all unions, some states, or no. The president knows what he's talking about. It's the Democrats again. Number one, so the other's average unemployment rate for my work and my payments. States and presidents and recording history. When I'm under debate, they're saying we're going to do this, and we're going to have to be best employment numbers in the history of our country. The African American unemployment, Hispanic American unemployment. Hispanic, I love Hispanic. I love empanadas. I love this audience is Hispanic, yeah? It smells like Doritos. Doing great. You have the lowest ever recorded, lowest unemployment rates ever with the Americans. Likewise, the lowest ever recorded, the unemployment rate for women reached the lower rate in 71 years, African American youth. So it's historic. It's the choice that accountability, the veterans' unemployment rate goes in history of the unemployment that the disabled Israelis are going back to the destiny and Didi-doo, Mahu, and maniacs back there, they're going to fight you. So the comma is wrong in the place that makes the word plural. And that's the animals speaking. And these numbers, they check them out and they help us check out what they're not checking out with the African American unemployment rate. So please be here for the historic. These people are amongst the most dishonest human beings on earth. Not all high school students have diploma, but millions of people didn't go through school and they had problems in their families. And they got it. It's a high school diploma, and it's achieved by the lowest unemployment rate. Even recorded in the history of the United States, there are important guys of the people, 500,000 more Hispanics. And the Hispanics done this to you. They're bordering better than anybody else. They're Mexico, they're neighbors, they're some very bad people. You have murderers, rapists in the United States, and they are recording this border that we're 122 miles away from them. They're understanding the best Hispanic speech, and they're making the country safe again for both of y'all, for you and for Mexico and from Canada. Recorded in our history of the country that President Bush and I say all the time. President Bush, 8 years from now, he's a $50 guy. He's a $70 70 John Trump. So 3 years from now, it's actually less than that. It's the number that 3 including 5 is regulation cuts. And your 15 Trump band can. And I eat and the hate of the IGQ and the 8 of the 9 of the down to the 3 years less. Less than a $10,000 check to a family that's out there with a historic reduction regulatory campaign in restoring American liberty and ending the tyranny of federal bureaucrats, of course. I deal with them. They're not as good as they call the swamp. We've ended the war in American energy, lowering utility bills, reducing prices and pump reducing your prices as part of the number that the money that was saved to pump electric, and also Yucca, shaping maybe the kindly report, probably reserving to Callum and the Washington Post and the lobbyists and the corrupt special interests to ship our jobs and factories and all of this stuff. So pause and be present and stay in silence, enjoy the moment, and understand that we're all one. Egonkar, we're all one. There's no other explanation to this or for this. Whichever grammar you personally prefer, and whichever one you use, because we all use different ones. All we know that everybody who tunes into English speaks a kind of English and understands some of the similarities that we have between us. So manufacturing jobs following the twin disasters of China and the World Trade Organization, probably an even worse deal. Under my administration, the great betrayal of America is over.